Well, good Saturday morning, everyone, and greetings once again from Radio Wasteland Records here in Midland, Michigan, and kind of an icy one to start the day out here in the Midland area. We did not get the forecast snowmageddon apocalypse that we were talked about. When the forecasts heading into Friday said you can get anywhere between 2 and 20 inches of snow, everybody panic. And then we get about an inch and a half. But I know down to the south of us, you guys got pounded, really even down from Saginaw Point south down to the lower part of lower Michigan. You guys did get hammered again. So we got a little bit lucky up here in the Midland area. Not going to complain about that. But we did get a little bit of snow, but the sun is out this morning. And the walkways and the parking lot are salted and ready to go here. So we're good to go for our day. And hopefully if you get a little bit more where you were, you're digging out and your Saturday is going accordingly. So let's say a couple of quick good mornings. I have to reach all the way around. I'm still having some minor computer connectivity issues this morning. But Betty saying hi from Toledo, sunny down there. They did get quite a lot the past couple of storms that way as well. Steve Carlson, Vinyl Community, looks like a beautiful day. It's always a beautiful day to buy some records, Steve. And hey, speaking of Steve and the Steve Carlson Vinyl Community, hang on for a couple minutes. We're going to talk about this little podcast thingy that Steve and I are doing together. Mr. Jeff saying good morning. Good morning to you as well as Pat. He took a break from shoveling to say hi. I'm glad you did. Pat sent us a picture of him enjoying the sunshine last week on a cruise ship somewhere in a sunnier clime than this. And Nick saying good morning. Good sunny Sunday morning to you. Yeah, it feels good to have the sun out there, doesn't it? Especially after, pretty much the entire month of February without it. But hey, speaking of that, it's March, and I'm having some difficulty grasping that because that whole March of time onward thing, it's not stopping. Before too long, it's going to be, St. Patrick's Day is right around the corner. And then it's going to be Record Store Day. And I think I actually like celebrating Record Store Day a little bit more than St. Patrick's Day these days, even with the last name of O'Gleason like that. But hey, speaking of St. Patrick's Day, on that it's a Friday, so I'm going to have to come up with a Sure and Bigora fun vinyl drop for that Friday. But we're also going to do our annual Pot o' Gold at the end of the Rainbow mystery bag drop that day as well. So we're going to work on some mystery bags here in the next week or so. Probably it's looking like we're going to be able to put out about 30 or so. I got a pile of records that are not bad, but we'll put out in mystery bags and we'll come up with something good to put in the mystery bags this time around. I don't know what we could put into the mystery bags this year, this time around that might be of interest to someone. We'll figure something out to put in the mystery bags as the great big green. All right, I'm done with that. We're still having fun, so we'll figure it out. Stay tuned for that, but we'll have some mystery bags out on St. Patrick's Day as well. A couple more good mornings. Karen. Ooh, Karen's got some Rush merch fresh from her trip to the Great White North, but actually east in Toronto. Thank you very much, Karen. Rick on the west side. Snow missed us. Hey, congratulations. Gary saying hi and good morning to you as well. And Tyler, good morning, man. Thank you for being here. And Dan, thank you. Dan enjoyed the podcast, and that makes a absolutely fantastic segue to get us over to talk about the podcast. Mentioned a week or so ago that Steve Carlson from the Vinyl Community and I are doing a podcast, and we put a lot of thought into the name of the podcast and came up with two guys talking about records. It's a Vinyl Community podcast. We've got our first episode out of the way and up on the interwebs. The only place you can get to it right now is on Podbean. That's our host for this. And we have put up a link directly to that on the Facebook page. I'll get it out on Twitter, and we'll spread it around here a little bit and get it up on Instagram as well. But for now, that's where you can find it. We have got it submitted to both Apple's podcast system and the Spotify one. And hopefully in the next few weeks, once we get a couple of more episodes under our belts, you'll be able to get to them there. But in the meantime, you can still listen to it, and we'll put those links up. There's one other avenue that we had found for the podcast as well. And I didn't know about this, but lo and behold, in our YouTube channel, in the control panel there, they piped up with a new tab called Podcasts. I think they're trying to compete with Apple and Spotify as well. So we'll start putting the podcast up on YouTube as well, even though it's just an audio podcast. I'll try to come up with something. We'll just put up a static video image or something like that to carry us through. But it'll be up on our YouTube channel as well, which, by the way, is a great reminder to ask you to make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. Just search for Radio Wasteland Records. Hit that little subscribe button. And if you're so inclined, hit that notifications button as well. So whenever we put new content up, it'll tell you, hey, Jim put new content up. And make sure you check out Steve's channel on YouTube as well. It's the Steve Carlson Vinyl Community. He has got a very popular YouTube channel where, guess what, he talks about records. But that's what we're going to do on our podcast of two guys talking about records on Podbean and our social media right now, but coming very soon to a YouTube, Spotify, Apple channel near you. All right. Let's see. A couple of others. Let's see. Gary, he's a $200 record in the mystery bags. You know how that is. Hey, Dave, how are you, man? Thanks for being here. And Mike saying hi. Looking, yeah, I wish I was, man. It's the hair. I'm having a midwinter long hair static cling day today, so I apologize if it begins standing upright. Okay, looking at our time, I'm going to move forward. A few new releases today. Nothing too spectacular to talk about. There's cool things, don't get me wrong, but we didn't get a few of the big ones that were coming out. The biggest of which being the reissue of De La Soul's 3 Feet album. I know some other record stores got it, and they were posting that up there as well. But everybody got limited quantities. They rationed it. No, we've talked about this so many times before about how this happens with the labels and what they do, whether they're not producing enough or there's just so much demand. But regardless, the stores that did get it only got a few, and stores that like us that didn't get it. I do have a couple copies coming next week, according to my delivery schedule, but they're the black vinyl copies, as the colored vinyl ones were even more scarce. So we'll do what we do. But so what we did get, there was a trio of Atlantic reissues, and what we've got left is one of the Aretha Lady Souls. These are classic Atlantic reissues on silver vinyl. If you want us to get more of these, there was a Dusty Springfield and a Roberta Flack that went along with this as well. We can probably get more of those. Check out, by the way, that new release show that goes up on Saturday afternoons on our YouTube channel and Facebook page to get all the lowdown on the new releases, maybe coming to a record store. Recent releases that we finally did get. I've got 2 copies left of the Gorillaz Cracker Island. This is the exclusive purple vinyl version of this, a cool album. And 2 left on that as of this morning. Excuse me. There was a Paramore release from a couple of weeks back. This Is Why. Lots of good buzz on this one. In fact, I've got an AI record review of Paramore in the wings waiting to go a little bit on that. This is a different version than the indie exclusive we landed, and I've got one of these left right now, and it's an exclusive green vinyl version. So if you're into the Paramore album, check that one out. Recent releases also got a few copies of the John Lee Hooker reissue, Burnin'. Great album. This is the album that introduced the world to Boom Boom from John Lee Hooker. On red colored vinyl, limited edition. Not certain how limited that is, but we do have 3 copies of that on the shelves as of this morning. Recent reissue as well, the Mars Volta. I've got 1 copy of Deloused in the Comatorium, so that is on our shelf. And a Music on Vinyl that from a few weeks back that just showed up as Music on Vinyl stuff does. This is Sopwith Camel. The Miraculous Hump returns from the moon. Some cool psych rock. This is a numbered one on white colored vinyl. 750 copies of this were made. We have got copy number 174. So luck of the draw. Got a good one on that one from that. A couple Rush ones to talk about for a reason. Reissues. Finally, we're starting to get some reissues of the Rush stuff in. Got a copy of 2112, a new repressing of Permanent Waves, and a couple more pressings of Moving Pictures. And on that note, Rush just announced yesterday. You guys know I'm a Rush fan. And I'm going to have to really think long and hard about this, but Rush just announced yesterday that we are now into the 40th anniversary cycle of reissues for Signals. It's a big one for them as well, but it gets into that 80s pop era, synth pop era. I don't want to call it pop, but it's Rush. Come on. But synth pop era. But they've got a huge 40th anniversary box set that they announced. It's not on our distributor site, but it's on the Rush site. Lots of folks are talking about it. I delved into it. It's cool, but I don't know how cool it's going to be because it's a lot like that Pink Floyd 50th anniversary of Dark Side, where the box set is huge and it's expensive, but I don't know. We'll talk about that Rush one down the line, and we'll talk about Pink Floyd coming up here as well. So, but there's also a picture disc from Signals that's coming out, kind of like the Pink Floyd, where they give you the big box set and then something a little smaller to pacify those that don't want to spend a couple $100 on that as well. Okay. Let's see here. We have got Mike saying, yeah, dryer sheets in the hair. I use those for smelly records. We put them in there. Mike saying hi to Steve, and Mike saying, hey, we'll start buying records again. Oh man, you're taking too much of a break there, man. Okay. Hey, speaking of Dark Side, 50th anniversary this week. Just the other day, they popped up 50th anniversary of that album. That will be the subject of the next podcast with Steve that we're doing this Sunday. It'll be up Sunday night or Monday morning, one of the two. We'll get that into there. But we're going to be talking about Dark Side, its significance. We'll get into the box set, but the variations, its impact. So lots to talk about, but we'll get into that as well. Okay, a couple other quick things to talk about. Record Store Day, the orders are in. Our orders were all due here the other day, so we took your requests early on after the list was announced, got all those compiled, and I got to say that we put in our biggest Record Store Day order ever based on something that a lot of you were talking about. Let me kick this up in here. So Record Store Day 2023 on April 22nd is going to be a big one. There were a lot of you looking for a lot of things, so we'll see how we do in the draw, because as we talk about, it's not a given at any point in time exactly what we're going to get or how many of what we're going to get. But there are some of the pressings that are in demand that have tens of thousands of pressings being made available. So we should be able to get those without a problem. Even if we run out, we'll probably be able to get to them. I'm talking to you Taylor Swift fans out there. Lots of those put in. And if just a little side note here, as we compile the requests and put them in last week, by far the most requested item was the Taylor Swift album on Record Store Day. So cool. Good. We'll put in for a bunch of them and see what we get. But you Swifties are really in for a good one, I think. The second one, by the way, this was kind of a surprise. I thought Verve Pipe was going to be up there, and it is. But we had a lot of requests for that big Van Halen one on Record Store Day. It's a larger 3 or 4 volume or 3 or 4 album set, live stuff with Hagar, booking out at about $100. And there was a lot of people that requested that one. So their demand for the Van Halen is there. So we'll hopefully get a whole bunch of those as we get much closer to Record Store Day. But make sure you mark your calendar, stay subscribed to our YouTube channel, and watch out for the videos as we get closer and closer. We'll talk about the Record Store Day stuff. If you missed your requests, not a lot we can do right now, but toward the end of the period before they ship our stuff, or right after they ship our stuff, our distributors usually will put out a residual list of stuff that's left over and give us a chance to order extra things at that point in time too. So it doesn't hurt to let us know if you're looking for something, but at this point it's in our distributors' hands. And after that, it's up to you guys to decide how much you want to stay in line and get the goodies the night before from there. All right. One other note from the drop yesterday. I'm not certain what's up, but we still have all of that Sean Phillips stuff. We put out a lot of Sean Phillips. What do you guys think? Do I have that flowing hair, the 70s flowing hair yet? I'm getting there. I'm kidding. So some cool Sean Phillips stuff out there as well. All right. It is time to wrap this up and get the turntable spinning. Lava lamps are going, get the lights on, and we'll get about our day here at Radio Wasteland Records. 716 George Street, just north of the downtown Midland area. Stop by and see us if you're in town. We're open from now until 6 p.m. tonight, and then tomorrow, Sunday, from 12 noon until 5 p.m. Again, make sure you're subscribed. Watch for our podcast. Steve and I will be doing that on Sunday, and we'll get that uploaded sometime on Sunday night, later on in the evening then, and we will go from there. So until next week, you folks have a great one. And we'll talk to you next time from Radio Wasteland Records. Thanks a lot for being here.